Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Round 6 of the brand new Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Lambo Trophy Series, presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics, the Apex Racing Academy, and Extreme Scoring right here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me, as always, in the announce booth is Larry McLeod, with Apex Racing TV's Dennis Branch and Jonathan Grabowski manning the controls. And after Round 5's outing at the track Paul Newman called Heaven on Earth, we now head to the former U.S. Army Airfield, where B-17 pilots trained during World War II, that held its first race on New Year's Eve 1950, hosted the first ever United States Formula One Grand Prix, and currently plays host to one of the most famous endurance races in North America. Tonight, our single mark series takes to concrete so bumpy that no Floridian could ever keep their turn signals from turning off automatically. Tonight, we head to Sebring International Raceway. So with just 2 rounds left in our inaugural season, things are definitely tightening up in the standings on both the Pro and Pro-Am side of the house, and with our Huracan pilots moving from the glass-smooth asphalt of Virginia International Raceway to the concrete that can rattle not only your teeth, but every bolt that holds your race car together, I suspect, Larry, that more than most every other track we've raced at this season, that setup and compliance, most of all, will be key to moving up in the standings.
Oh, setup is critical around Sebring. Hey, Greg, how you doing?
Very good, Larry.
Yeah, around this this Florida track, this concrete is legendary for its bumps and its unevenness, and is very bumpy, especially down that front straight through that turn 1. So setup is critical to get the right balance around this place. And it's, to me, it's a great track for these kind of cars. Obviously, running endurance type cars, but I think it's a great track also for racing because of the number of long straightaways and passing opportunities. It really is a great racetrack, and I think tonight we're going to see a lot of passing that otherwise other tracks might be more patient and waiting for the right opportunity. Tonight it's going to be a lot of aggressive places because, well, it's Sebring and there's lots of places to try.
Yeah, there certainly is. Whether it be the hairpin over at turn 7, whether it be going into the little, I'd call it a chicane over at 15 and 16 Le Mans, of course, over at Sunset Bend, where that is probably the prime spot where you're going to see passing here all night long at Sebring. It should be a great battle over the course of our 2 30-minute races, as we do every round here in the Lambo Trophy Series. We do have 2 races, and we invert the field, and actually invert the top 10 for our races based on the number of points they have accumulated here in the season. So it makes the racing here incredibly interesting, incredibly challenging, and very, very dramatic, Larry. And so tell you what, before we talk a little too much here about Sebring, why don't we turn things over to our own Kevin Ford? He's going to give us tonight's track guide here at Sebring International Raceway.
Welcome, everyone, to Sebring International Raceway. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today around this 3.7-mile road course. That's right, nearly 4 miles is what it takes to get it done around this place. Well, let's get ready to get our lap started here. We'll head across the stripe. You'll notice our pit area to the right as we head down this front straightaway towards turn 1. Very fast entry here as this corner is full of speed. Right down to the wall here to get that rotation out of apex. Very bumpy coming off that corner. Heading down through 2 now, we'll get ready to hit our entry into turn 3, the 3-4-5 complex. Very tight through this section. Tough to overtake in this portion of the course. Coming up out of 5. We'll head around this slight bend here of 6. Take us out onto another little short chute here. You can see overtaking opportunities coming down into 7 here. Famous hairpin. Want to get a late rotation here so we can get that car to shoot right up through this section of corners here coming out. We'll head into Fangio. 8 and 9. This will take us down to Cunningham Corner. Heavy brake zone here. You will see some overtaking on entry here. But this corner is so bumpy. Trying to get power down off that exit is so difficult. We're going to head down to Tower Corner now. Heavy on the brakes. Late rotation here as well. Get right back to throttle, and we're right back to speed once again here. 2 double lefts coming up. Around the first one, around the second one here. No need to lift in this section. We'll come right back down on the brakes. Get ready for this right-hander here. 15, now into turn 16. Le Mans curve and coming out onto the backstretch here, onto Almond Straight. Use up every bit of that exit to get some good speed as we head down this great overtaking opportunity here, heading down into Sunset Bend. A lot of varying surfaces here at this course, cement, asphalt. It creates quite a battle for these drivers here with all the undulation. Coming through Sunset, you're going to see this car getting bounced around like crazy. There you go. Look at that, just picking up all those little bumps and trying to get throttle down. Oh, it is a challenge here at Sebring International. What an amazing fast course. There you go. There's your track guide for Sebring International.
All right, well, thank you very much to Kevin Ford for our track guide tonight here at beautiful Sebring International Raceway. And Larry, I know we usually bring in a driver into the announce booth with us, usually right before they get in the seat for the first of the 2 30-minute races, but gonna mix things up just a little bit because we know time is at hand, the season's running down, and our guest definitely wants to make sure that he can put in the best qualifying laps he can. So let's bring in Eric Violet, driver of the number 89 D2D E-Racing entry to the booth here, and get his thoughts on tonight's race.
All right, we've got Eric Violet with us. Eric, thanks for joining us, and welcome to Sebring Raceway. Are you trying to get the track temps to try to cool down and get a little better conditions here tonight?
Hey, half a degree makes a difference sometimes.
Yeah, it does. In a track like this, though, we were talking about this when setup matters. Of course, this being a fixed setup race, how is the setup so far in your time in practice? Is it compliant to all these bumps?
Yeah, this one, this set's a little tighter than we've had in the last couple weeks. Like VIR was really loose, and so was Road America. But yeah, this one's, I don't think there should be any trouble. I don't think we'll see people spinning the rears, except for maybe the first half lap. But if they get them warm up if they get tires warm on the warm up, they should be all right.
Yeah, bit kind of looking back at some of the results so far. We got tonight, and we got one more round after this in this season. You're starting to get some improvement as the season goes on. Are you getting more comfortable in the series, and are you looking to maybe start to see some podiums out of your performance?
I don't know about podiums. Tonight may be a podium because we don't have Mike Dam, Travis, Tony. They're not here, so it should be an easy one for Caleb. And I got Whitworth and Ruddock are usually my main competition. But with this track, it seems like it's tightening everybody up. So I think we're going to see. Here's my prediction. Caleb's going to walk away with it, and then we're going to have the best of the rest. Is going to be a bunch of tight racing all behind him.
I'm looking forward to that for sure. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you go out and qualify. I don't want you to miss your chance there, and good luck tonight. Maybe we'll talk to you at the end of the night.
All right. Big shout out to Emmy and Howie as well.
All right, there you go. Good luck to Emmy and Howie. Thanks for joining us on the broadcast here, Emmy and Howie. That is our currently running fifth in the standings in the pro category. That is Eric Violet, driver of the number 89 D2D E-Racing machine. And Larry, I think he filled us in on maybe a big storyline here tonight, where, for example, we don't have out with us here tonight Mike Dam, who is currently leading the championship in the pro category, the number 93 Orion Racing entry, and also some other very notable drivers not with us here either this evening. So should make for some very interesting racing here in the Lamborghini Trophy Series. Tell you what, while we've got our drivers just now starting to turn in their first flying laps, and our drivers have 15 minutes to turn in 4 flying laps to set the grid for our very first race. And as we mentioned, after race number 1, we then go and invert the field where the top 10 will have their order switched. Let's go and we'll quickly run down where we are in the points now in both our pro and our Pro-Am categories. And let's start off with the pro, where we have Mike Dam, who as Eric just mentioned, is not going to be joining us here tonight. He is currently your points leader with 131 points, the Orion Racing entry, with John Allen currently running second. Not all that far back, only, 17 points back in the Astro Autosports entry. And then we've got Chris Thorman, the teammate of Eric Violet, sitting third with 106 points. And then you can just see there, tie for fourth place right now with Travis Schwenke and Randall McGrew. Eric Violet, who we just spoke to, not all that far back from there. But based on the way we allocate points here for each race, things are definitely still up in the air in the pro category. So we'll definitely have to maybe recalculate things after tonight's race. Of course, this is week number 6 of 7, so time definitely starting to run out. So let's go take a look at the open category, where right now in open, I believe Russ Ruddock, he is currently your points leader there, and you can see there with the drops, 89 points, only 2 points up on Mike Taylor with John Casey, not all that far behind, actually tied with Alexander Theologus, and then Bobby Child sitting back in 5th. So very, very close here in the standings. And, again, things should, after tonight's race, I think, continue to be very, very tight. As I look up and down the field here, it looks like the majority of our open category drivers are here this evening. So let's Let's take a look now, Larry, and see where we stand in qualifying, as we have a number of drivers now that have put at least 2 laps on the boards there. You can see that Caleb Lavender, driver of the number 333 entry, he is currently your provisional pole sitter, almost a half a second advantage, a little bit more than half a second over pro category driver Andre Saunders in the number 72 entry, with Brandon Whitworth in the number 42 entry sitting third. He is 85. Actually, I guess he's just put in a little bit faster lap, about 7/10 back from Lavender. Then we've got Bobby Childs. He is far and away right now your leader in the open category with a fast time of 2:45. So he's just a couple hundredths out of third fastest overall. Russ Ruddock, currently your second fastest driver in the open, with a fast lap of a 2:02 and change. Scott Brooks in the number 94 entry, currently your third fastest driver. But we are only about halfway through this 15-minute qualifying. Again, drivers have 15 minutes to set to run 4 laps. And of course, fastest lap will set the grid for race number 1. And then for race number, and there's Russ Ruddock. Welcome to national television, Russ Ruddock.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, exactly. Glad
no one saw it, Russ. Don't worry. Nobody saw it at all.
Nobody saw a thing. And again, we'll invert the field, invert the top 10 drivers for race number 2 this evening. Of course, both races 30 minutes in length here from Sebring International Raceway, from beautiful Kevin Ford said it was 3.7 miles. I beg to differ. It's 3.65 miles. And of course, 17 turns here at Sebring on this old Army Air Force base.
You don't know the rounding rules of math, but Kevin does. It's okay. We won't hold that against you. You're not here to do math.
No.
I'll do all the math we need to do tonight.
Thank you.
One thing that I can do is I can decide which number is the lowest, and that is Caleb Lavender's time of a 1:59.7 that he's sitting on right now. That's flying, and that's kind of predicted, as was mentioned there in our pre-race interview with Eric Violet. He did mention how fast Lavender would be tonight, and it really kind of no surprise that he'd be at the top of the board right now. Whitworth, Saunders up there alongside him, but still not able to get into the 59. So it's going to be interesting at the start of the race. But I think, not that this is necessarily a drafting car, but it certainly is a track where there's lots of long straightaways to keep a toe and kind of keep things in touch. And I think Sosa, Saunders, I think, have opportunities to do that, as does Bobby Childs and Russ Ruddock and some of the others that normally run in that open class. They're going to have their opportunities as well to stick with this pack here tonight. But looking, actually, I wanted to mention a little bit about that open class, because Russ Ruddock, as we noted, is leading in the points, but he just last week at VAR got his first win this season. And I think that's out of 5 rounds. That's knowing he's been very consistent. It's been a bunch of second places for him, 1 5th place at Canadian Tire, but that win really helped him a lot in the points. The driver who's got 3 wins, though, with Bobby Childs, he's actually down in 4th. So he needs some consistency. He's at this point either winning or mid to bottom of the pack and having issues. I think Bobby really needs a good run tonight to give himself a good chance at this championship here in the open class. Not to say anything, John Casey, Mike Taylor sort of in between them, but right now Russ and Bobby counting for 4 out of the 5 victories, with Mike Taylor with the other one in that group. Bobby's really the one who's got to have a consistent race tonight, because Russ has been just that consistent all season long.
All right, looks like Brandon Whitworth, one of our first drivers to put in 4 flying laps. His fastest lap of the session, a 2:23. That's good enough for second fastest. That is as high up as he will move. So currently, provisionally, he is sitting on the outside of the front row with Caleb Lavender, provisionally your pole sitter. Lavender, I believe, on his very last flying lap. And we'll see, or actually he hasn't started that lap yet. So we'll take a look and see when he goes out. We're on board right now with with Jeff Jacobs in the number 38 machine, and I believe that's the streetsurvival.org entry. And he is looking to move up in the order, as he's currently sitting 5th in the pro category as he comes around onto the back straight here, very long back straight at Sebring, and hoping to move up from row number 3.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where he can end up, because he does, in fact, have an open class driver in front of him, and that would be Bobby Childs, the one I mentioned needs to probably have a good result there in the open class. He's got a pretty good advantage on the rest of the field there, ahead of Russ Ruddock and Brooks and the guys down there, after a few rows behind him, so opportunity for there. But Jacobs would like to make sure he stays in front of Bobby. Not going to quite do it as he's still behind Bobby there after that lap. But he'll be at least up in that front 3 rows for Jeff Jacobs.
All right, as we go back on board with Andre Saunders, and I believe that this is Saunders' very last attempt at a fast lap here, his 4th flying lap, as he comes around the final corner, comes around the Sunset Bend at turn 17. And he's calling that lap off. Yeah, it looked like he was a little bit off the pace coming into 17, Larry, and he brings the car into the pits. He is going to have to be content with no better than 4th.
Yeah, Eric Violette right there. We talked to him earlier. He is on his 4th lap, his last lap of qualifying. We'll see if he can improve. Currently down there 8th overall, 7th in the pro class on the provisional grid. But these cars do like a little bit more heat in the tires. They do get to about that 4th, 5th lap and really start to settle in. So this is Eric's opportunity now, as we'll kind of keep an eye on him through the first sector if he's able to turn a personal best through the second sector. Not quite. So he definitely would like to also stay a little bit closer, as he thinks maybe, as he mentioned, an opportunity for podium now with some of the usual big hitters not here tonight.
Yeah, and you can see there that that he's got the lights ablazing right now. We are running this race in what's essentially the middle of the afternoon here, so about 2:15 in the afternoon Sebring time.
Well, it's interesting that with iRacing, I thought the lights would be on for if you're running an endurance-based setup.
Right.
Whereas if you're running a sprint-based setup, so you would not have the lights on. But what's interesting here is these are all fixed setups. Everyone has the same setup. But some cars are showing lights on and some are not.
Some are not on, exactly. I don't know what the difference is there, but I think we've seen that in previous rounds as well. Now, one thing we haven't mentioned tonight here is, this is the second to last round of the season, this inaugural season with 7 rounds. Oh, as Eric Violet gets a little bit loose there, coming out of Le Mans onto the Ullman Straight, onto the long back straight here at Sebring. And great prize that we're giving away to one lucky driver, and that is a gift certificate for 5 hot laps in a real Lamborghini Gallardo at the Exotics Racing facility at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And that also includes driving instruction, as well as a couple of discovery laps along with a professional racing instructor, and then 5 laps in that Lamborghini. And that is going to go to the winner of what is essentially going to be a raffle. And each time you score points here in the Lamborghini Trophy Series, you get you get your name dropped into the hat one more time. So obviously, the better you do, the better your chances are to win. And,
can't believe they don't let us enter as commentators. You know, all the hard work we put in. I just can't believe that we don't get our names in that hat.
No, I think the best we can do is run rental cars around around the tracks of interest.
Every car is a race car if you want to drive it like it.
That's right. All right, Larry. So we're getting the grid up and running here. Let's take a look at the starting order for race number 1 tonight. Starting on the pole is going to be Caleb Lavender in his D2D E-Racing entry. Fast lap time 1:59.746, almost a full half second faster than our outside pole sitter, Brandon Whitworth, his teammate in the number 42 D2D E-Racing machine. Then we've got Rafael Sosa. He's going to start on the inside of row number 2 with Andre Saunders pairing up next to him, starting in 4th. Then we have our open category pole sitter. That's Bobby Childs in the number 88 D2D E-Racing machine. He's going to be starting next to Jeff Jacobs in the StreetSurvival.org entry, the number 38 machine. Then we've got Chris Thorman starting in 7th. Eric Violet, who we just spoke to a few moments ago, starting in 8th overall. Thanks again for dropping in with us pre-race, Eric. We appreciate it. Jacob LeBron in the number 12 VTS Racing entry will start on the inside of row number 5 alongside Steve Daniel in the SKKJ Racing entry, the number 96 machine. Then we've got Russ Ruddick and Scott Brooks making up row number 6. Chris Thorman, then we've got Nick Parsono in the number 79 NAP Motorsports entry alongside Mike Taylor. And then we've got John Casey in the 046 Racing number 78 Lamborghini. He will be starting in 15th position tonight.
All that said, we got a nice full 3.65 miles of warm-up behind our pace car here tonight.
So what you're saying, Larry, is I could have taken a couple breaths in between.
No, I think it's great. It's a real show of your skills there to do the entire grid there on one breath. That's
my intestinal fortitude, or is that my my lungs fortitude? Yeah, exactly. All right. So we now have the field rolling off for their installation lap, for their pace lap here at Sebring International Raceway. And again, this is the first of two 30-minute races tonight. And when race one concludes, we'll invert the finishing order of our top 10 drivers. So obviously the key, and we'll be watching here tonight, is that transfer spot, positions 9, 10, and 11, and 12 to see who's going to find their way on the front of the grid for race number 2. And who is going to find their way, sitting 11th and 12th.
Well, that's what I mentioned about this track being no racing is ever easy to pass, but it certainly is a track with plenty of passing opportunities.
Yes.
So in a format like this, where your top 10 gets inverted for the second race, this isn't exactly Monaco. This isn't exactly going to be a game of follow the leader and then the top 10 flip and maybe a couple spots shuffle. This is definitely going to be an opportunity for whoever wins the first race can definitely have a good shot to win this second race. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out once we see that order at the end of the first one. But it gives a good opportunity for somebody who has a really bad start to make up for that later on. You don't have to win the race to turn one. If you want to make up spots, you can do it during the race. Now, it is Sebring. It has that so inviting turn one to go 6 wide into that funnel as they head down towards turn 3. But I don't know if anybody's going to be taking that kind of chance tonight. It does get awfully tight down there when you get past that turn 1 wall.
Yeah, and you got that little kink, that little kink there leading down into turn 3. Things narrow out considerably.
It does.
So certainly, they always say you can't win a race on at the first corner on the first lap. Well, that may actually be true here at Sebring. That this is a track that you really want to play a cautious game. And of course, the other challenges here, and you'll see it every single time. I'm sure we'll see some more onboards going through the Sunset Bend through turn 17. That it's one of those tracks where you have to keep your head down. You have to keep your concentration levels high, because as much as your car will bounce around and move around through 17, it's sometimes very difficult to, 1, keep your car on line, and 2, keep your car out of the concrete walls that round that corner. It's certainly one of the big challenges here.
There's a good groove to that corner. We'll see some of that tonight. And there's a couple of lines you can try, but certainly there's some that you'll hit a bump wrong and it'll just sort of toss you a little bit wide. So usually I get into a rhythm when I get out here. I'll try a couple different ones until I find the one where I get the best exit line. And that's why these guys do a lot of practice to try and find that groove, because it may bounce you twice to the right and once to the left, and that once to the left might be the one you want. So find that line as opposed to the 2 bounces left and 3 bounces right.
All right, so we've got the field now. You can see, kind of in the diamond formation. They'll be more or less lined up 2 by 2 as the pace car brings them down into the aforementioned
Keep
Sunset
an eye on
Bend.
Whitworth, or even Sosa or Saunders there on that second row, to try and make a move early. Not that they have to win the race, but it certainly would mix things up quite a bit and really be true to the sprint format, and it would create opportunities for everyone behind them to try and move around too. If this is strictly just a parade and Lavender starts to take off, no one's going to probably catch them, but we'll see if anybody can try it here going into 1.
All right, and the field rounds the Sunset Bend, and the green flag is in the air, and jumping out to a very early lead is Caleb Lavender. He cuts right across the nose of Brandon Whitworth, going driver's right as he heads down into turn 1. Whitworth will follow him through, and then we've got Rafael Sosa and Andre Saunders. But just back behind them, we've got Eric Violet in the 89, Jeff Jacobs side by side, going still side by side as they come down into turn number 3. Then we've got Thorman, who's gotten around Bobby Childs, and Bobby Childs dropping like a rock. He might have had some issues there going through turn 3, Larry.
It looks like he did, yes. He's got himself facing the wrong way. here on Sebring. This is definitely going to put him in a big hurting here at the start of this race.
All right, well, we'll jump back. Maybe we can see exactly what happened to him in just a few moments as Caleb Lavender brings the field through the hairpin, turn number 7 here with Whitworth, Sosa, Saunders following close behind. Then a little bit of a gap back to the purple 89. Apropos having the purple car there, Eric Violet, who's made up 3 positions already, then Jacobs, Thorman, and LeBrun.
Yeah, great start
well.
there for Violet. Definitely starting 8th outside of the 4th row, got by a couple of spots, already up into 5th. So really good start for him. That light is shining bright for him as he's now.
Easy to pick him out in the field there. Oh, and running wide now. The number, that is Andre Saunders in the 72 running wide. And we'll see if Violet can pick up another position. And indeed he does. So move Violet now up into 4th position. Move Andre Saunders in the 72 machine back into 5th with Jeff Jacobs now close behind as things are bottling up just a little bit behind the 72 machine. Now you did notice that the stewards are looking at the incident that involved the 88 machine. All right, let's take a look. I think we've got the replay queued up now with Bobby Childs here as they come through turn number 3 heading into the S's there. Oh, yeah.
A little wiggle from Thorman, it looks like, and Childs just kind of got caught out. I don't know that I would necessarily call that anyone's fault of any kind of deliberate move.
Yeah.
I think Thorman just got a little bit loose, and Bobby was just sort of there for the hip check. Unfortunately for Bobby, he got the worst of it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And things really, as you mentioned, kind of tighten up there going through those S's over by turns 4 and 5. As we're on board right now with Nick Parsono, currently sitting 13th overall, 4th in the open category as he tries to negotiate turn 1 there. And he's got Mikey Taylor in the number 66 entry just ahead of him. And pretty good lineup of drivers here. Ahead of Mike Taylor, we've got Russ Ruddock in the number 95 car, and you can see just a couple cars up from there is Scott Brooks, all in the battle for the lead right now in the open category.
Well, that'll be interesting now with Bobby out. We talked about that before the race started, that Bobby really kind of needed to be consistent, and unfortunately with that little bit of a run in there, and there you go, the incident has been ruled, no action required. But for Bobby, that just means he's a lot of work to do. He's now about 5 seconds down from this pack, so he's definitely got his work to do to try and catch up with Casey there. He's going to get a little help, as it looks like Steve Daniel may have had just an issue as well as he's slowly falling down the order.
Yeah, it looks like the number 96 machine may have had a bit of a problem there, and so that's going to move Bobby Childs up 1 more position. And again, kind of unfortunate there with Bobby having started on the pole in the open category and definitely on the back foot now, as he's certainly going to be working his way, try to at least get up to that transfer spot, sitting around 9th or 10th. And be in a much better position for race number 2, certainly, as we're on board right now with Andre Saunders looking at the...
giving up a spot.
Yeah.
He's giving up a spot to Violet, who's moved all the way now,
right.
Started this race in 8th, now to 4th. And Saunders now looking up.
All right, I'm getting a word from the folks in the production trailer. Thank you, Dennis and John. That looks like Steve Daniel might have had some hardware issues that might not have, well, may have been an incident on track, but apparently some equipment issues at the home that are limiting him. So we'll see if he can continue. We are showing him as I think on. Do we have him on track now? No, I don't think we do. Yeah, it looks like he's
unless
checked
he's
out
doing
of
a
the
steady
session.
158 miles an hour on the 3.65 miles of Sebring. I don't think he's actually out there.
I was going to say he might be down at Homestead by now. So looks like Steve's, Bobby's session here Steve's session is now done. Here we go, Saunders and Violet. This is the battle for 4th right now in the pro category and 4th overall, and Saunders looking for a way to get that position back. As both he and Violet, though, keeping pretty much a steady gap there back to Rafi Sosa in the number 50 machine. You can see just ahead in that pink entry, or was that fuchsia? Heading up now towards the tower turn and onto the Flying Fortress straight.
Might be pink, might be fuchsia. It's not lavender, because that's the guy leading the race.
Right, yes. I'm getting so confused. All right.
But leading the race and actually not pulling away is Caleb Lavender. There's a big spin there.
Saunders, that is Saunders. It looked like he turned in a little bit early. Might have caught a little bit of curb there.
Yeah.
Going into the chicane over turns 15 and 16, otherwise known as Le Mans. And he puts that car around. That is going to drop him now down, it looks like, to 8th in the AM category. So that is 8th in the pro category. Let's take a look at the replay here. And you'll see there as they come through the bend over at 14.
With a little bit of grass on the entry actually caused him that whole spin. Didn't make any contact with anything, but that grass is not the greatest grip. Asphalt and concrete are much better grip surfaces to be on.
Yeah, and you can see there the next turn as you get through that little wiggle over at 15, the turn that brings you through and onto the Ullman Straight, there's a lot of concrete there that you can run rather wide, but obviously a lot of grass the corner before, which is what he caught, and that drops him now all the way down to 12th overall, 8th in the pro category. He's sitting back behind Nick Parsono.
Just ahead of Bobby Childs there, who also had his own spin. So that's the spin zone now down there beyond Nick Parsono. So you got a good shot of Chris Thorman coming into the hairpin.
All right, so a little early days here. We're only about 7 minutes into this 30-minute sprint race, but currently the driver's in that transfer spot. Russ Ruddock sitting in 9th, which is 2nd in the in the open category. Then Mike Taylor sitting in 10th. Nick Parsono, who we were on just a moment ago, sitting 4th in open, is just out of the money in 11th. So as we're standing right now, that transfer spot could really serve to split up the open category for race number 2. But we'll have to see how things play out.
Yeah.
We've had a little bit of attrition at the front of the field in the pro category, and that could alter things considerably for the open category.
This battle going on between Ruddock and Brooks there in the open class, pretty tight. Is there just a half a second between them there? Ruddock is coming in, of course, as the points leader. Scott Brooks had a couple of DNSs early in the season, but he's been on the podium the last 2 rounds. So he's looking to try and get that taste of that first victory, but he's got to hold off the guy that won the last round there in Russ Ruddock to do it. But pretty tight battle going on there, of course, with Bobby Childs, who's got the other victories this season kind of down the order right now. But good battle going on between these two. And don't count out Mike Taylor, who's currently 3rd in the points. He's 3rd right now in the standings in the open class as well, and he's going to be right there on the tail of Ruddock. So these top 3, it's anybody's game between them. But as you mentioned, they're also happen to be sitting in the transfer spot there in 8, 9, and 10 in this first race so far.
All right, and we are on board. Well, we were on board with our open category leader, Scott Brooks, but we jump back now to Rafael Sosa, currently running 3rd in the pro category, and Eric Violet, who had of course been under attack by Andre Saunders. Now with really nobody behind him for about, I'd say about 20 car lengths, he's really had the opportunity to open things up now and attack Rafael Sosa in that battle for 3rd as they now make their way over through the hairpin here, and we'll see if he can make up a little ground. He's been sitting consistently about 4 car lengths back. Hasn't tried to move up any closer, but I'll tell you, just ahead of them, I was just watching, it looks like Caleb Lavender, Brandon Whitworth in the battle for the lead. Things definitely are tightening up over there as we continue to watch this. Yeah, you can see there about 2.5 car lengths separating our leaders as they come onto the Flying Fortress Straight. And looks like as they get the bend there, and this may be possibly, Larry, a little bit of difference in setup. Maybe a little bit different rear wing that looks
remember,
like
we are fixed setups here in the Lamborghini Trophy Series. So
that's right.
Any advantage you see is really comes down to the driver's technique, and some drivers might be better at maybe a light trail brake to get the car to set right, where other ones maybe are all right-footed braking and not able to do that trail braking as well. So you see some different techniques that play in even slightly different lines, but yeah, this is the one series we call that is actually all fixed setups.
That's right. So I was going to say, it looked like Lavender has been consistently getting a better run out of turn 13 onto the tower. Out of the tower turn onto the Flying Fortress Straight. That he opens things up by about a car length and a half. But as you see here now, as they're coming down the front straight into turn 1, Brandon Whitworth has this is the battle now for. This is the battle back for 3rd where Violet has closed back up on Sosa. But I was going to say that it looked like Lavender was getting a little bit better run onto the Flying Fortress straight compared to Brandon Whitworth, and then Whitworth
and he may
closes
be,
back
like
down.
I mentioned, so one of the things you find in a car, especially as Eric Violet mentioned in our pre-race interview, how these cars are a little bit a little understeery perhaps. They're a little bit less tail happy than maybe they've been in prior rounds with the setup they're using tonight. And one of the ways you counter that as a driver to get the most out of the front turn-in is a lot of trail braking. Front nose set, get the car to rotate. If you could do it right, to get that rotation so early by using that trail brake, you get on the gas early, and it really does give you great exit speed. As it looks like Taylor has missed his braking point and goes wide there at the hairpin. Luckily, didn't cause any contact there behind him. Saunders and Parson were able to sneak on by.
Yeah, and so that's going to move Mike Taylor now back into fourth in the open category. He had been running in third, as you mentioned, both Parsoneau and Andre Saunders. Saunders in that 72 machine trying to work his way back up to the pro category drivers.
He's seeing that spot in front of him now. That's a transfer spot now.
That is.
If he can get there, he knows at least the second race got a shot. But this is a good recovery for him after that spin earlier on.
Yeah, so Parsoneau currently running 10th overall, third in the open category. Saunders currently sitting back in 8th in pro, but more importantly, 11th overall, just as you mentioned, right out of that transfer spot. And of course, doesn't necessarily, we've got drivers in the pro categories and the open categories. The classification for our drivers, based on their I ratings, also based on their accomplishments over the previous 6 months leading into the series. So they could be very, very similar racers.
Got to move by Violet, trying to take to the inside on Sosa. Can he make it stick as they bottleneck their way down to 2 and ultimately to turn 3? Not quite yet. Sosa's still with the advantage.
There you go. They get the little bend at 2 and under braking now going into 3. Rafael Sosa manages to hold off Eric Violet's advances, so keep Sosa in third, Violet in fourth.
He tried all that he could. He tried to wait as long as he could to make that pop to get out there. You can see him get a great run even off a Sunset Bend. Still not able to make it work. Really tough to make that move there. At some point here, though, he does appear to be the faster driver. He's just going to pick his spot.
Yeah, and you can see there Sosa getting a little loose there through the hairpin, but you could see Violet poking his nose just a little bit coming into turn 7, the hairpin. There just wants maybe Sosa, if he watches his mirrors just a little bit too much.
I suspect he is right now. Yeah, a little bit worried about what's going on behind him, seeing this guy that's seemingly come out of nowhere to get up onto his tail, and I don't think that he needs to be looking out the back. He needs to be looking out the front windshield. That's the one that counts.
That's all right, as they come now onto the Flying Fortress straight, and we'll see how that 89 machine handled. But you can see taking slightly different lines than the Mr. Sosa there, try to get into his mirrors and confuse him a little bit. And again, we saw what precipitated that attempt going into turn 3, and it all started at the end of the Ullman Straight that our drivers are coming on to right now. So we'll see as Violet drafts
Violet's
right
got to run
back
again.
up. Yeah, once again, he pokes to the inside.
And I think if he can get to that inside, he can make it stick, because that nice, tight line through there can offer a good pass for you. You may not get the greatest run down the front straight, but you can certainly make it stick. He looks like he's going to. Let's see if he gets a good exit as well, like he did the last time.
Yeah, and you saw that he got had a very early turn in there. Car did not drift out wide all that much, but just enough also to cover Rafael Sosa. So move Brandon Whitworth now, or probably move Eric Violet now in the number 89 machine up into third, right back behind Whitworth. And then here comes the battle. It's Thorman and Jacobs now, as this is the battle for fifth. Currently in the pro category and overall, as at least for the moment here, looks like now the widest Lamborghini as opposed to
already wide car.
Yeah, as opposed to the widest Mercedes, which we see Jeff Jacobs running another one of the Ricmotech series, able to hold off Chris Thorman's number 60 machine, at least for the moment.
We'll see how long that lasts as we check back in with our leader, Caleb Lavender, now extending his lead to a massive 0.8 of a second. Had been hovering around that 5 or 6 tenths for quite a while. But Whitworth not going anywhere tonight. Going to really push Lavender all the way through this first 30-minute sprint. we got a couple of good battles. So you got this one going on. You got, of course, the Violet Sosa battle we were just watching a moment ago. You've got the Brooks and Ruddock battle going on. So there's a couple of really good battles around this track. But it's great when you get the leaders here. Although it looks like Whitworth may have just had a bit of a slip there as he's dropped back by about a second further.
Yeah, I was going to say he just dropped back a bunch there back behind Lavender.
I suspect he might have had it off back there around turn 13. That right-hander, it's kind of a flick you got to get through there. If you do it wrong, you end up on track.
You end up running a little bit wide into the grass there, driver's right. I was going to say, another great battle, and thank you, Dennis and Jonathan for coming to it, is Mike Taylor and Bobby Childs. This is the battle for fourth in the open category, and these two have been at a nose to tail for seemingly
I tell you what,
most of the race.
Bobby has picked up about 4 or 5 seconds, not just on this guy, Mike Taylor, but he's picked up 4 or 5 seconds on the leader in his class. And if he could do that again, if he can somehow get by Taylor and pick up another 4 or 5, he's got a shot to get close to that transfer spot, with maybe a little bit of help out in front of him. So Bobby trying the full recovery tonight. If he can do it, this is going to be close with their contact.
He pops to the inside of Taylor. Maybe a little bit of contact there. Ooh, and Taylor almost takes out the tire wall driver's left as he stepped wide. And there you go, Bobby Childs. He now takes over fourth position in the open category. Doesn't look like it's over yet, but move Mike Taylor in the number 66 machine back into fifth as they make the run out of turn one, and we'll see if this is over. It looks like Childs now has a bit of an advantage as they go down into turn number 3.
I think Bobby ultimately is the faster of this pair. It was a really good pass, by the way, and I don't know if there was actually contact or if Taylor just was kind of a bit of a twitch there thinking there was going to be contact, but Bobby able to get on by. So now Bobby's got a set of sights up front there, about 6 seconds up the road to Nick Parsono, and he's got about 13 minutes to do it. So not going to be easy to outpace Parsono by about 2 seconds a lap, but that's exactly what he needs to do to see if he can catch him and get on by him and have a shot at the transfer spot, which right now is held, of course, by Mr. Saunders. Andre Saunders currently in that 10th overall.
Well, I'll tell you, I liked the racecraft there, Larry, as both of those drivers, as Childs and Taylor went down into Sunset Bend in the 17, and Childs just held him out there, and he opened up the entry to that corner as much as possible. A little bit earlier, we were watching Eric Violet and Sosa, and you saw that Violet had given Sosa maybe a car length and a half gap between them, that if Sosa wanted to come in a little bit more and pinch down on Eric Violet, he could have done it. He didn't, but he, in this case, definitely gave Bobby Childs the control of the corner.
We might be seeing it again here with Saunders. Might be making the same move on Ruddock. Now, this is not for positioning class, but it is for position overall in the race. Saunders just a nose ahead as they hit the brakes.
And there we go. That is for 9th and 10th overall. There you go. Saunders trying to work his way back up through the field after having that off a few laps ago over at turn 15. And next in line for him, you'll see just up ahead, is Scott Brooks. Brooks is our open category leader right now. And both he, Saunders, and Ruddock now making their way through turn 1, that little bend, under braking into turn number 3. But good move by Saunders to get around Russ Ruddock and continue his march back up to the pro category drivers.
He's trying everything he can, and one of these spins, again, this is not gonna kill you with an early spin, but certainly not gonna make it easier for you. But Saunders right now, one of the fastest cars on the track, trying to work his way back through this pack, as is Bobby Childs a little further down in that open class.
All right, Larry, and as we're now just about 19 minutes in to our 30-minute race, very first race of 2. Remember, this evening, everybody, we do at the conclusion of this race have another 30-minute race to the checkered flag, and with the drivers running about 2 minutes a lap, 1:59 a lap, looking at probably another 6 laps or so here for race number 1. And you'll see as we go back on board now with Eric Violet, driver the number 89 D2D E-Racing entries, open things up just a little bit more on Rafael Sosa, but at the moment good distance back from Brandon Whitworth in second. As we jump back now, again, this is Scott Brooks in the white number 94 machine. He is your leader in the open category. Right behind him is Andre Saunders in that orange number 72 machine. Saunders in the pro category, but definitely it looks like with a little bit better pace than the 94 machine. But you can also see Russ Ruddock who's running second in the open category. For a moment there, it looked like he was just trying to tag onto the back of Saunders, maybe get pulled up to Brooks. But I don't think that battle for the lead in the open is.
Oh no!
Quite
And then
yet.
Saunders goes and spins. I was just about to say how great of a line he was taking there, but for Saunders, mid corner was dreadful to him as he gets up at a spin, almost gets into the wall, able to recover, but all that work to get by those guys, and now he's going to have to do it all over again. He's 10 minutes left.
As he now drops back behind Parsono, and the other thing about this, and let's take a look here. Yeah, let's take a look. I think we've got the replay of Andre Saunders
does everything
going
right.
through
He's
17.
on this great line. He hits the brakes, and right about here, he just sort of, the car just gets away from him. And
yeah, you could just see that it didn't look like understeer. It didn't look like oversteer. I mean, it looked like he was in a four-wheel drift there for a moment.
We talked about how bumpy it is, and he might have caught a couple of bumps there. The back end starts to dance a little bit, and if you get on the gas, it just starts to walk, and it just never comes back. And unfortunately for Andre Saunders, it never came back. He's got to go and do this all over again.
Yep, and as we're now down to just over 8 minutes remaining, that also puts Andre Saunders into 11th position overall. That is one out of that transfer spot. Again, we invert the top 10 drivers going into race number 2, and Saunders currently sitting back in 11th.
And you can see it. That white car in front of him, that is Nick Parsono. That is the transfer spot, so he can almost smell it. And I think right behind him is Bobby Childs, and Bobby knows what's at stake.
That's right. So Bobby Childs in the number 88 machine, currently sitting 4th. He has 2 spots to make up. Yeah,
he's got about a second and a half down from Saunders. So the 3 of these guys, just over 2 seconds apart between them, fighting for the transfer spot here. 8 minutes to go before we get there.
Yeah, and you can bet Nick Parsono knows this quite well. You know, although this may not be a battle in class.
But he runs wide. He's going to give Saunders the line.
Yeah, he's going to give Saunders the same move that he had just a few moments ago. And you're right there, especially with the cars running too wide. That is a great opportunity for Bobby Childs to make up ground. Almost get a touch there. And Saunders moving much more to the inside this time. And rear end steps out again. But you'll notice, Larry, he was much, much farther to drivers right there. Yeah,
he was ready for it. But I'm really watching Bobby Childs back there. As Bobby gained about 2 seconds, or a little under 2 seconds there on Nick Parsono that last time by. But the issue is now he's got to catch Parsono and then catch Saunders out in front of him to get to that transfer spot. So Bobby, as we got a good look at him there, he's got a little bit of work to do. Not out of the woods yet. He's not out of arrows either in his quiver.
That's right.
He just got to start throwing him down and seeing if he can get by Parsono, and then maybe hope that Saunders isn't done spinning. Saunders is fast when he keeps it on the track. He's really fast when he qualifies in the top 4, so he's got speed. He just has to contain it. As there's our leader, pole sitter, and now race leader, Caleb Lavender.
Yeah, and he's opened up almost a 3.5-second advantage over Brandon Whitworth in the number 42 entry. He's just run a flawless race tonight. You know, we saw Whitworth. He put up a very good battle for, I'd say, about the first 15 minutes or so. Had that little bobble coming out of the tower turn onto the Flying Fortress straight, and you can see him back there. I mean, he's not completely out of the picture, but he's got a long way to go if he wants to make up that ground now in 6 minutes. All right, so let's jump back now, and we're taking a look right now at Bobby Childs in the number 88 machine, Nick Parsono in the number 79.
He's going to get a run. He's pressuring Parsono here through the Le Mans S's, and look at Bobby getting the good early turn in, and he should be able to turn this into a pass into the straightaway.
Yeah, might have been a little bit too close to Parsono coming out of turn 16, but he has managed to pull up alongside. He's going to control the corner going into 17, into Sunset Bend here, and as he bends the car in, let's see Parsono trying to make the move from the outside, maybe try to come underneath him, try to do the over/under, but no, Bobby Childs does manage for the moment to hold him off.
He's still alongside. This is not over yet.
Yeah, as they make the run now down the front straight, heading into turn number 1, and that 88 machine has not made the move yet. As Parsono, Parsono had the position going in the 1, but now Bobby Childs from the outside takes over 11th position, and the question you have to ask yourself, Larry, is that extended attempt to make that pass stick. Does that limit his chances in getting up to and around Andre Saunders there in that orange number 72 machine?
Bobby and Andre on the last time by ran exactly the same lap time to the 100th. So Bobby is definitely keeping pace, and you can see him right now as he is right up on the back of Saunders, who may have had an issue already in the first sector in this lap. So Bobby is seeing that transfer spot. That bright orange car in front of him is the car he needs to get on by. He just looks like a machine right now. He really is quick for Bobby.
Yeah, it looks like he's turned on the afterburners here at the airport at Sebring International Raceway, and he made up a lot of ground on the Mohawk Racing entry of Andre Saunders here now right on the back as they come out of the tower turn onto the back straight, and you can see there Saunders, he drops a wheel coming out of turn 13 and onto the back straight here. And
we're gonna see about 2.5 more laps of this. It may come down to a Sunset Bend Hail Mary pass on the last lap for Bobby Childs to try and get around Andre Saunders, but this is not going to be easy by any stretch. These two are really fast drivers tonight.
You know, and you see here as Childs makes the run out of the chicane out of 15, really tossing the car, gets great rotation coming out of 16 onto the back straight, and for a moment there it looked like he had a better jump than Saunders did in the 72, but he's going to lay back.
Saunders spins all by himself again, same spot
as he did just about 4 laps earlier. Andre Saunders putting the car around at turn 17 Alpha at the Sunset Bend. That is going to drop him now back into 13th overall as he tries to get that car back underway. That is now going to move
and Bobby spins and won. He hits that wall at the apex, giving Parsono back the spot.
So Nick Parsono now moves up to 10th overall. Mike Taylor now is one out of the transfer spot. Mike Taylor in the 66 machine is now up into 11th. So Childs now sitting in 12th. Andre Saunders, it looks like he has brought his car into the pits, and he is going to be ending his race 1, realizing that he's not going to have that transfer spot. Yeah, let's take a look, Larry, here as we got the replay of Bobby Childs coming down in the 1.
And he's deep on that apex. He just flips the wall right at that, where the cone marks the apex. He hit the wall right below that cone. If you're not familiar with Sebring, there is a cone hanging from the fence at the top. And Bobby was probably eyeballing that cone and forgot the wall kind of sticks out at him. And
I was just going to say, Larry, that was nothing if not target fixation right there. As Bobby hit the apex, literally.
As an autocrosser, I'll tell you, hitting that cone just cost him more than 2 seconds.
Yes, it certainly did. All right, so we're on board right now. A little bit further back, we can see there that we've got John Casey, we've got Andre Saunders, we've got Steve Daniel there, and there is the Violet machine, the number 89 car, who made up 5 positions today. He is sitting currently in 3rd position as the white flag is in the air. We are on the very last lap.
Yeah, if this race ends as it is, he'll start the second race the same place he started the first race.
That's right, and a little bit different competition there just ahead of him. As Caleb Lavender, the 333 machine, he is currently your leader. He's got almost a 10-second advantage, almost a 4-second advantage, over Brandon Whitworth. Yeah. There he is.
He's just been flawless. 15 laps of just absolutely flawless driving right now for Caleb Lavender. His last time by just over 2 minutes, 2:04. Before that, it was a 2:0. There you go. There's his lap times. Look at the consistency. Nothing even in the 2:01s the last 5 times by. Just fast. Absolutely
very, very consistent there, and has continued to open things up over Brandon Whitworth. And coming into the tower turn, just a second here, making his way through the last little parts of the infield. And now he will be setting up for the tower turn, and just a few more corners left to go here. On board with Chris Thorman, there he is in the number 60 machine, trying to make up some ground on Jeff Jacobs. This would be the battle for 5th in the pro category. A little bit of time left and fairly close, but you can see there are things fairly tight. It looks like Rafael Sosa hadn't given up the battle with Eric Violet as of yet here, so still lots of close racing here in the pro category on the very last lap from Sebring, race number 1. But there he is, your leader, Caleb Lavender, driver of the 333 machine. And as he comes around the final corner, the Lavender Racing entry, lights a flashing. Caleb Lavender will take the win in race number 1. Brandon Whitworth comes across the line. He will finish second in the number 42 entry. That, of course, is the D2D e-racing entry. Oh, look at this coming out of Sunset. Nose to tail, Jeff Jacobs and Chris Thorman. Or actually, was that Jacob LeBron right behind him? That, I believe, was, that was Jacobs and Thorman as they go and cross the line. And great little run there as Thorman tried to make up that last position. They're going to finish 5th and 6th overall here in the open category. Thomas LeBron will finish in 7th. Taking the win in the open category is going to be Scott Brooks with Russ Ruddick finishing 2nd. Nick Parsono holds on to 3rd in the number 79 machine. Mike Taylor will finish 4th. Bobby Child, who was our pole sitter in the open category tonight, he will finish back in 5th. John Casey will finish in 6th. And unfortunately, Andre Saunders and Steve Daniel do not finish the race.
Yeah, another flawless race for Caleb Lavender from basically from the green to checker for him. Great run there for Eric Violette to go from 8th up to 3rd. I think that's probably the drive of that race.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, but you got to feel bad there for Bobby Childs. Had the rough spin or the rough bump hip check spin there on the opening lap. Works his way all the way back up to the transfer spot, only to tap the wall 2 laps before the finish and take himself right back out of the transfer spot. So rough go for him. But hey, you know what? 1 race down, we get to do it all over again.
That's right, Larry, we do. But before we do, let's take a quick little break, thank our sponsors for the evening, and then we will come back for race number 2 here from Sebring International Raceway. This is round 6 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Lambo Trophy Series presented by Performance Texas Elite Graphics, Apex Racing Academy, and Extreme Scoring. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
All right, and we are back here at Sebring International Raceway for round 6 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Trophy Series. I'm Greg Ginsberg, and as always with Larry Lefty McLeod. Just watched a great race 1. Tell you what, Larry, why don't we bring in Caleb Lavender? He's sitting in the green room right now, and try and get his thoughts on race 1 and maybe some strategy going into race 2 as he's about to head on track here in just a few moments.
All right, we've got race 1 winner with us here, Caleb Lavender. So, Caleb, congratulations on that win. Pretty solid there, right from the green to get yourself out to the front and fend off Brandon that whole race.
Yeah, it was a good run. I think Brandon ran wide coming off of, I believe it was Tower.
Mm-hmm.
And he was keeping me honest for the most part, but
yeah, he did, and he did pretty well. I think you're right. I think that's about where he had lost it, but you were able to kind of secure that win. But now with the inverse order here for the top 10, you're going to start in 10th place. You got some strong competitors now in front of you, folks like Whitworth, of course, Eric Violette, who moved himself up a little bit in that race. He's going to be pretty much right in front of you as we start this race. Are you going to try and just follow those guys through, or are you thinking 30 minutes is enough time to get back to the front?
Yeah, I'm just going to try and be patient. I'm fully expecting some incidents in turn 1 and 2, so just hopefully I can avoid them and, follow Eric or Brandon through.
All right. Well, good luck, and this is going to be a fun one to watch the start of, and hopefully we do see you skate through there unharmed.
Yep, thanks.
All right, there you go. That was Caleb Lavender, our winner from race 1, the driver of the number 333 Lavender Racing entry. He is going to be now starting in 10th position for race number 2. And Larry, we've got our drivers out for their warm-ups. They've got just about another minute on track here before we get set for race number 2. But what are your thoughts coming into this next race? It was interesting to hear Caleb getting ready for the inevitable bottle up turns 1 and 2 going into this next race, and we have seen, if previous rounds are anything to go by, that the starts for race 2 have not exactly been the cleanest as some of our top runners from race 1 try to very quickly make their way back to the front of the pack.
It would be in Caleb's best interest to probably sit back and just sort of hold your spot. Don't do anything crazy. Even leave an extra half a car length in front of you and watch and see what happens out in front of you. And same thing for Eric and Brandon. You get down that order, and you look and see who's going to start this race on the front with Nick Parsono up there. Nick's going to have his hands full with a very hungry Russ Ruddock, Scott Brooks. So we know that Ruddock was able to get by him. I think these guys, Thorman, are going to be quick off the start. I'm hoping it's clean, but my eyes are going to be on Ruddock and Thorman to probably come out of this in the best position at the end of this first couple corners.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case, and yeah, maybe it would be best for them to sit back, for some of these drivers to just kind of sit back and wait for the seas to part in front of them. I just have these horrible memories of the start of race 2 at Watkins Glen
Don't need to see cars on their roofs. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. All right. So Larry, why don't we run down the starting order for race number 2 here?
All right, on race number 2, starting on the pole in the NAP Motorsports entry, it's Nick Parsono. He'll be alongside the Flying Tortoise Motorsports entry of Russ Ruddock. They're both, of course, out of the open class. Also starting third from the open class in Brooks Racing is Scott Brooks. And then starting the first of our pro class drivers from VTS Racing, Jacob LeBrun. On row 3 on the inside, D2DE Racing's Chris Thorman. He'll be alongside the StreetSurvival.org entry of Jeff Jacobs. On row 4 on the inside, Roger Motorsports, Rafael Sosa, alongside Eric Violette from D2DE Racing. Row 5, Eric's teammate, Brandon Whitworth, also from D2DE Racing, and he'll be alongside race 1 winner from D2DE Racing, Caleb Lavender. On row 6, a couple of open class drivers on the inside, Frito Sport Racing's Mike Taylor. He'll be alongside another D2DE Racing driver in Bobby Childs. On row 7, on the inside from 046 Racing, John Casey. He's an open class driver. He'll be lined up alongside, we saw him struggle a little bit. He'll be fast, though, Andre Saunders from Mohawk Racing. And, of course, then last but not least, and hopefully he's got his equipment working again, is SKK Racing's Steve Daniel on row 8.
All right, so there you go. That is the starting lineup for race number 2. Again, we inverted the top 10 entries or the top 10 finishers from race number 1, and Nick Parsono, who finished 10th in race number 1, will be your pole sitter, and we do have all 3 and the first row and starting third, all of our open category drivers. They're Jacob LeBrun, your pole sitter in the pro category, sitting on the outside of row number 2. So should be a great battle there, and we'll have to see if our open category drivers can manage to hold back those pro drivers, keep them from getting right in the middle of that battle there as this race goes on. Again, another 30-minute run to the checkered flag here for round number 6. And we went through the current point standings. Things very, very tight in both the pro and the open categories. It's the one thing I love about having this inverted field, Larry, for race number 2, is it really has found a way to keep both of our categories very, very close up and down through the field here, both before and after you consider some of the drops. And so we'll see here as we only have one more round after Sebring International Raceway, how this continues to play out. But I think things actually only tightened up after that last race on track. All right, so we've got the pace car now bringing the field here through the infield, and we'll have them coming down just a couple more corners until we get ready to take the green flag for race number 2 here this evening. Again, your pole sitter, Nick Parsono, and then Russ Ruddock and Scott Brooks. So it should be a great battle.
You mentioned about the point standings, obviously with one more round to go here at the 6th of 7 rounds. And Caleb Lavender really is the man with the best opportunity. Obviously, our race 1 tonight winner there comes into this race in the 3rd position in the pro class. Right. Mike Dam, Travis Schwenke, neither one here tonight. So if Lavender can come away with another strong finish and get the first place overall for tonight, that would give him 4 wins in 6 rounds. It's a pretty solid resume there as they head into that final round. It's really going to tighten the battle there to Mike Dam and Travis Schwenke out in front of him. Schwenke's been doing it on some consistent finishes. Dam, of course, with a bunch of wins as well. So I think when you add all this up, it's going to be a tight finish at the end.
Yeah.
For Lavender with a really good shot to win this overall. But he needs to not get wrecked out in this. He really does need to get a top 3 finish here to solidify those points.
All right, and we see here now as the field has come out of turn 16 and on to the Ullman straight, onto the back straight here, and really saw Parsono leaning into that car, getting some trying to get some heat into the wheels. I saw him getting on the brakes a little bit as well. We'll see which driver is more prepared when they go under the brakes going into turn number 3 here, as Nick Parsono and Russ Ruddock go down into the sunset turn. They are going to have the pole, and let's see here and see when Nick Parsono, our pole sitter, starts to take off as things straighten up here. Oh, and jumping out and moving to the inside there. Was that Jacobs who made that early?
Jacob LeBrun, I think.
Maybe.
Or was it Jeff Jacobs? It was Jeff Jacobs.
I think that was Jeff Jacobs.
Right.
Pulled all the way over.
I don't know if he was trying to avoid some contact there or whatever, but he got a couple of cones there at pit entry, but everything's all sorted out now as there's a little bit of contact further back, it looks like with Sosa. But out in front, though, Parsono able to hold on to that spot just ahead of Ruddock and Brooks, and LeBrun now still in 4th. So no changes up in the front. Looking down the order yet, don't see anything changes yet. Lavender loses a couple of spots there, but still, alive and running for him. That's all he wanted in those first couple of corners.
Yeah, exactly. To keep the car clean, keep it on track, and maybe make up a couple of positions, which he has done. As we are now all in a row.
There
yes,
Brooks
it is.
Oh,
as Thorman gets maybe into the back of a run also, and a little bit further back in the pack. It looked like Caleb Lavender was trying to make a move on Whitworth as well here. So I guess that time knows the tail. That is now done as Scott Brooks tries to come up the inside of Russ Ruddock, and Jacob LeBrun now with a good little run. We'll see if he can do anything with it. Again, LeBrun currently your leader in the pro category. I'm sure he wants to separate himself out right now from Chris Thorman. And LeBrun's got to deal with the 3 open category drivers just ahead of him.
Oh, just watching these cars come through these corners, it's like somebody loves their polka music because it's all accordions as they are just going in and out and just about hitting each other. Really tight there the first time going into the hairpin. Just about scared me. I thought we were going to have a huge pileup, but nope. Everyone's able to keep it running. But this is where it gets interesting now is you got the mix of the top 10 inversion. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th are all quicker normally than the ones in the front. So
and look at that pulling all the way to the side once again, and actually
a slowdown possibly.
Maybe.
Didn't quite see how that happened, but we'll get to that in a little bit because up front.
And was that Mike Taylor in the 66 that pulled all the way over? I couldn't. Possibly. All right, I think it was. All right, so let's take a look here. Looks like the 89 car, as you can see on the screen there, has gotten a warning for contact. That's Eric Violet. And now coming up the inside was Jeff Jacobs in the 38 machine, trying to make a move on Chris Thorman. Could not get it done. Those 2 drivers continuing their battle from the previous race as they now go down into turn number 3. That's the battle for second right now in the pro category. And you can see very bottled up there. Jacob LeBrun, Chris Thorman, Jeff Jacobs all in a row, bottling up back behind Scott Brooks.
So I'm thinking with a lot of these guys, they got comfortable later in that first race as the tires all kind of got warmed up and we started seeing a lot of passing. Still a little cold right now, and I think a lot of drivers are still tentative to try and push it, to try and make the great runs off corners to make the pass. I think that's what's happening up front with Brooks, Ruddock, and still trailing Parsono. I would have expected by now that Ruddock would have made a move. Hasn't happened yet. And then you look at Violet on Sosa. We saw him visibly faster in the first race, able to make that pass. Here he is again, not able to early in this race. He's trying to pick his spot on Sosa, as Sosa's trying to pick his spot on Jeff Jacobs.
Yeah, and with all these drivers nose to tail, there's almost nowhere for you to go if you thought you were in a position to make a pass here. As I think you're right, perhaps some of the pro drivers feeling that they've got the heat in the tires, they're ready to go, and they're finding there's nowhere to go because the couple drivers up front maybe don't have confidence in the equipment here.
Brooks get passed there by LeBrun. LeBrun forcing the issue going into Le Mans S's. That's a beautiful pass, but talk about risky.
Ooh, and now LeBrun gets a little loose coming out of 16, but what that does is it gives him a little bit of cover. He's got Scott Brooks now sitting between he and the rest of the pro field. Chris Thorman, Jeff Jacobs currently sitting second and third, but it looks like Brooks he's gotten the position back, and LeBrun now runs wide.
He gets out there in those marbles, and you cannot get on the brakes out there. It just doesn't do you any good. You've got to stay tight there. Look at the 3 wide now at the exit. Here's Lavender, race 1 winner. He gets caught up with. He's fine, actually, but now look at LeBrun ends up the worst of that. He ends up into the wall.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of contact there. LeBrun's right front to the left rear of, I believe that was Bobby Childs, and LeBrun got the worst of it. So LeBrun goes all the way from first in the open category now into 8th. And
might have been, let's check out that replay because it might have been Thorman that he was alongside. There he is on the outside. That's not Thorman.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the Jacobs machine, the number 38, or probably number 88 machine.
30. I think you're right.
38 machine. Sorry.
Jacobs,
yeah. So.
But they were 3 wide coming out of there, and there's not a whole lot of room for any of them to go. And I think it's going to be probably chalked up as one of those racing incidents. Unfortunately for Jacob LeBrun, that's not going to help him all. As the other Jacobs, Jeff Jacobs, ends up okay for that incident, able to proceed, trying again continue to chase down Chris Thorman, who's trying to chase down Mr. Scott Brooks out in front of him.
All right, so there you go, and you can see him now coming through turn 10 and now heading over towards the tower turn. That we're on board right now with Chris Thorman. He is currently your leader in the pro category now that LeBrun has put the car around. Jeff Jacobs running in second right behind him. They are both behind Scott
train,
Brooks.
Though. For Thorman, Jacobs, Sosa, Whitworth, Violet, Lavender, covering 1.8 seconds, 6 drivers. It is just a train right now.
Yeah, nowhere for them to go except maybe break into the inside, coming off the draft and going into sunset into turn 17.
And Lavender showing his patience right now, as he said in the interview that he was just going to maybe sit behind Whitworth and Violet, kind of follow them through. Those guys haven't been able to make any moves, as Sosa is still behind Jacobs, who's behind a couple of seconds there behind Thorman. Not a lot of action.
You can see all follow the leader coming through sunset.
It's tight through there, a lot of bumps.
Yeah. And there you go, getting very loose was Brandon Whitworth. He gathers the car back. And going for the long ride there on the outside was that. I think that was John Casey in the 78 machine that had the big drift, gathers it back up just before he impacts the wall. But you can see now, follow the leader. Maybe that's done as we've got cars going too wide.
There's a little bit more contact for Lavender going the inside of Whitworth. Not a lot, though, just a slight little bit of side rub, but I think they're okay. Opportunity there for Lavender as Whitworth is a little bit slow, trying to chase. I believe that might have been Violet or Sosa going into that corner. I did notice there on the stewards are taking a look at an incident there. Might be the one involving LeBrun. They have Eric Violet listed as the other car involved. There's big contact as Ruddock gets hit in the back by Brooks.
Brooks, yeah.
Boy, that accordion is strong. The whole everybody's off there at 7.
So that exchange there, Chris Thorman, who had been running down in 4th, he's now moved up to 2nd in the number 60 machine. He's your leader in the pro category. He's put Russ Ruddock and Scott Brooks behind him.
A lot of movement going on as Violet's now alongside Childs.
Look at this as they go 2 by 2, heading in through the S's here. And things are really starting to heat up as we are now just about 7 minutes into this 30-minute race number 2. And yeah, they're all nose to tail now, making their way down the Flying Fortress straight. But it looks like every time the
Lavender is making Lavender's picking these guys apart as he gets a little bit of a bump there behind, and he goes around. Sosa got into the back of him.
Ooh, so
Caleb
Lavender.
Race 1 winner now is going to have a bit of a recovery.
And it looks like Sosa's all over there also, and they're both going to have to try and get back on track. They're going to drop now back into 11th and 12th overall. Yeah, let's take a look here, Larry, at the replay as they went down into
it looks like
into the
Lavender
chicane.
Gets alongside. Yep, he's looking up in front of him, but up behind him is that Whitworth that gets in the back of him.
Got into the back of Lavender, and it looks like Sosa just went around on his own.
Yeah.
Maybe dropped a little bit into the curbing there, but looked like the big issue there was the Violet car, the 89.
Yeah, the stewards have got a lot of work to do. They're already looking at the one incident involving Jacob LeBrun. Now they have to go look at another one, probably there involving Whitworth and Lavender. Meanwhile, this guy, Mr. Barcino, Nick Barcino, out leading the race, but he's now got company as Chris Thorman has closed that gap quickly. Remember, at one point, I think it was about 3-4 seconds. That is gone as Thorman has been quickly chasing him down. He's going to take a bit of a nose down the inside of 7.
As they go through. So we've got Barcino, who's our open category leader. Thorman, who is our pro category leader, running 1-2. Then we've got Ruddick and Brooks running 2nd and 3rd in the open category. Then Brandon Whitworth in the number 42 machine. But, we'll have to see as Whitworth was involved in a little argy-bargy there just a few moments ago, what's going to happen with Whitworth, who is currently running 5th overall, 2nd in the pro category. But
would not be surprised if penalties are assigned to Whitworth for that, which in that case would help Bobby Childs and Eric Violet currently behind him. Those guys don't necessarily have time to sit and wait to see if the penalty is assessed. They've got to try and get around him if they can. But this battle right now is Thorman trying to pick a spot here on Barcino as he's up under the back of him going into those S's.
Yeah, maybe pushes Barcino a little bit wide going into 15.
There's the race control reporting. That is Whitworth and
Lavender.
And Lavender, yes. So they're going to take a look at that incident. As we're going to continue to take a look at this Barcino and Thorman battling for the lead between the two different class leaders. This is a fun one.
Yeah, this is great. It looked like Thorman might have gotten Barcino a little out of sorts going through the chicane over at Le Mans, but
Thorman's got a run, too good of a run, I think.
Oh yeah, it looked like he was going to try and stick it underneath Barcino. Barcino came to the inside the cover, but Thorman now with a great run coming down into turn 1, and looks like you see there the 50 car has been assessed a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, that's 50. That's Sosa. I don't recall which incident that was, unless Sosa was involved with the LeBrun incident, but I don't recall seeing. We thought that was Jeff Jacobs, but we'll have to, I'm not sure which incident that was involving Sosa, but it does look as though he's been assessed a penalty.
All right, so here we go as Barcino still leads Thorman. Thorman was not able to get it done going into turn 1, heading down into turn 3. We'll see if he tries to stick the nose underneath Barcino going into the hairpin at 7. He's showing the nose. Barcino getting a little defensive as they come under braking now into 7. And Barcino, if he can keep that car on track, and you can see they're at to really crank the wheel over, Larry, but manages to get it straightened out through 8 and 9.
So a couple things you're now seeing at car 42. That is Brandon Whitworth. He's been assessed a drive-through penalty, so that will take him out of the mix. That's for his involvement with the Caleb Lavender incident. I went back and checked that car number 50 incident. That, of course, was Sosa. He was involved with an incident with Jeff Jacobs, as you notice, who's now a lap down. So the penalty for Sosa is his incident with Jeff Jacobs. Still no ruling, I think, is the incident between the 89 and the 12. The 89, of course, being Eric Violet. Don't know if that's actually who that was, but no response yet from the stewards there. It's been a busy night in the stewards room.
Yes, it has. All right, as we jump back here with Barcino and Thorman, and Barcino opens up maybe about 2.5 car lengths as they come out of 16 onto the back straight. I think we'll see that Thorman is able to make up most of that in the draft, but he may not be in position to take another run at Barcino going into Sunset, and indeed just a little bit too far back this time around. But looks like he's got a little bit tighter line going through 17 Alpha, and might have made up just a little bit of ground on exit as Barcino tries to tighten things up on exit.
Yeah, Barcino doing a pretty good job of defensive lines. As
that's Whitworth going to serve his penalty, the number 42 machine.
That'll help move Bobby Childs and Eric Violet up one spot, as Violet right now is one of the quickest cars on the track. He and Andre Saunders are trying to chase down Childs and try to make their way through this pack, knowing that those are probably the fastest guys on the track of this top 7 or 8. Boy, right up under him.
Oh, and there we go. Yeah,
this
almost
might be the pass for the lead going into 7.
Yeah, almost got directly underneath him. Here we go. He's got position now going into 17. Or probably not into 17, into 7, into the hairpin. And looks like Thorman, he is able to get it done to move Chris Thorman, driver of the number 60. Oh, well.
That's a wide car right now as he's trying to hold Partsnow from the counter move. I don't know if those are lots of moves, but it certainly was a strategic line there.
Yeah, and it
does
get very tight there, Larry, through 10, 11, and 12, and he manages to hold off Parsono as they make the run down to turn 13 through the tower turn, now under braking and onto the Flying Fortress straight. So your new leader now, Chris Thorman, driver of the number 60 machine. He is your pro class leader. Nick Parsono, he drops back the second, but he still holds on to the lead in the open category.
Yeah, but Russ Ruddock and Scott Brooks are coming.
Yeah, I was going to say he's got Ruddock, he's got Brooks, he's got Child
Bobby
lined up
Childs
behind
is
him.
just in the wind there waiting. As soon as he can get by Brooks, this might be the straightaway where he makes that move for Bobby Childs. Brooks a pretty good exit, but Childs has some draft. He's going to get a push from behind as well in Eric Violet.
I was just going to say, let's see if Violet tries to beats him to the punch and complicates things. There you go. There's Bobby Childs now. Pokes to the inside of Scott Brooks and under braking. Let's see if he can hold him off. And I'll tell you, I think Violet's going to play a good pick there to hold Scott Brooks out.
Looks like Saunders is going to do the same thing. All three of them are going to go right on by Brooks, unfortunately, in one corner.
There you go. And now Scott Brooks, he's going to have to deal with 2 pro class cars just ahead of him between he and our new second place, probably our new third place runner in the open category. That is Bobby Childs. Great move by Bobby. Got it done when he needed to. And unfortunately for Scotty Brooks, traffic can be problematic
no knock on Scott
sometimes.
Brooks, but that is often the difference there between a pro class and an open class driver. The pro class drivers have that solid line entry. They're able to control that under braking in a corner like 17, and the intelligence of the second and third runners in that group there with Violet and Saunders to follow Bobby Childs through and to make it all through in one corner, as Violet and Saunders now look a little more amateur-like as it's getting a little bit bumpy going into turn 7 this time through. But those guys previously through 17 definitely showing their pro form by taking advantage of that and getting on by Scott Brooks. Brooks now, though, saying, hey, these guys up front are getting a little bumpy. Maybe I should take my spot back.
All right, let's take a look here as we're on board now with Russ Ruddock, currently running second in the open category. He's a full 2 seconds back from Nick Parsono. As those little battles there between Thorman and Parsono didn't allow the rest of the field to catch back up in the second, but Ruddock now under attack, definitely by Bobby Childs in the number 88 machine, starting to close things down.
It's more it's a swarm of Lamborghinis there behind him.
That's right. All right, let's take a look. We've got a replay coming up here as they make their run.
This bumper cars, a little bit there, a little bit there. That started with Violet actually getting into the back of Bobby Childs. Bobby was just trying to not take out Ruddock in front of him. Luckily, they all continue, but that easily could have been a bigger mess than it was. Yeah,
and it looked like Saunders was the third one in line there with the little love tap going into 7. Again, all those drivers able to keep their hands on the wheel, keep things straight here as we now take a look coming out of 17 as we've got Eric Violet trying to make a move on Bobby Childs. Again, this is not for position in class, but it is for 4th overall.
Yeah, well, he knows if he wants to get to the overall of the victory, he's eventually going to have to get around Bobby. Yep. Bobby also wants to get around for positioning class is Russ Ruddock. And that's what makes this interesting is these guys, it is 2 different battles going on between Ruddock and Childs and then, of course, Violet and Saunders. But somebody wants to win this overall of the race. And right now, Chris Thorman's holding it, but each one of these 4 guys behind him thinks they can do it too.
All right, here as we watch now with
Bobby's going to make the move.
Oh, yep, here we go. As Bobby Childs now moves alongside Russ Ruddock as they're now side by side going into 7, going into the hairpin, and Bobby Childs now moves up to 2nd in the open category. He's made up 9 positions here in race number 2 to move up to 3rd overall.
Eric's trying to do the same thing. He's got Ruddock now on the inside. He's on the inside of Ruddock trying to get down, follow Bobby. Doesn't want to lose position to Bobby, doesn't want to lose ground to Bobby because he knows that he's got to eventually get around him. But good move there for Violet, now up to 4th overall in the race.
Yeah, makes a nice move going into turn 10 and goes and cements that as they come around towards the hangar straight and then onto the Flying Fortress straight. So now move Eric Violet up to 4th overall. He's running 2nd now in the pro category. and just back behind Bobby Childs. And Childs still a long way to go. You saw that white number 79 of Nick Parsono about running up about 2.5 seconds up the road. Ooh,
oh no, and that's a spin for Saunders.
Yeah,
who had been up in that group. Unfortunately for him, he's going to fall right out of that. In fact, he falls down behind LeBron, who we saw with an issue, and behind Lavender.
Yeah, he drops back.
As well.
Drops back now to 10th overall in race number 1. Saunders had his issues with the sunset turn 17. This time going through the chicane over turns 15 and 16. But now back on board. Bobby Childs, there he is in that gray number 88 with Eric Violet right behind.
Oh, and Mike Taylor in Sunset Bend.
Yeah, as he comes under the bridge at 17, looks like Mike Taylor now, and that's going to drop him back to 11th overall, 5th in the open category. Oddly, that is where he started the evening, but I'm sure not where he wanted to be at this point. As we go back to the battles here, Russ Ruddick with now Scott Brooks right behind him, and this is the battle for the last step on the podium now in the open category.
It's so interesting. It's just in front of them, though, is that Bobby Childs and Eric Violet, which is not for position. That is two different. They're currently each second in their respective classes. For Violet, he wants to win this race, as I'm sure does Bobby Childs. Neither one of them would benefit from the two of them battling. So the two of them kind of have to work together. They kind of got to be a little bit of co-opetition going on here to try and catch Parsono out in front of them about 2 seconds up the road. And then another 3 seconds or so to get up to Chris Thorman.
Yeah,
so these two
and
have
basically
to
start battling with the white flag in the air. Let them work it out on the very last lap, because where they are right now does not do them any good, really, as they.
But it looks like Violet would be the faster if they were swapping positions.
Right.
Which, I don't know that Bobby would ever let anybody by, but and there
was
Bobby.
It might not matter as he pops the curbing at the apex, Larry. You saw the right front of that car lift up in the air. Bobby Childs, and so Bobby Childs now into the wall, and it looks like his night is now done. So that moves Eric Violet in the purple number 89 car up into 3rd place overall, 2nd in the pro category, and he's now all over the back. Yeah, let's take a look at the replay here, Larry, as they're coming through 16.
Let's take a look at this. He's got a good shot here. The helicopter gets that curbing on the inside, and the car just starts to go and never comes back.
Nothing he could do there once he got up on the curbing. Just lifted up the inside of the car and around.
So this will be interesting then. So now if Violet was faster as the front of that pair, now he's the lone survivor of that pair. He's got 5 seconds to gain in the next 10 minutes. So that's roughly about 5 laps. He's got to go about a second a lap faster than Thorman to catch him, and he still has to get back Nick Parsono before he can get there. So this is going to be interesting for Violet.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a challenge as we now have almost or just about 9 minutes remaining in this 30-minute sprint. And but I'll tell you here is he needs to get up to Parsono. The difference right now, that last time by, almost exactly 1 second between Violet and Parsono. That again, that only gets him up to 2nd, doesn't get him into the lead, and you wouldn't expect Parsono to just lay over and let him by. So it's definitely going to be a challenge for Eric Violet if he wants to get up to Chris Thorman here.
Yeah, and I'm also keeping an eye on our race 1 winner, Caleb Lavender, who's currently sitting in the 6th spot overall after that spin that he had early in the race. He's been making up some ground. He's now right on the tail of that Brooks and Ruddick battle, as we got a good shot here of Saunders chasing down Jacob LeBrun. Each of these guys have had their share of spins. Saunders had one late in this race, and of course had a couple there in the first race. LeBrun had a little bit of help with his here in this second race. But LeBrun going to try and hold off Saunders, but I'm not sure there's much he can do right now.
I don't think he can there. Oh, he moves over just a little bit, just as Saunders is trying to poke to the inside, but it looks like Saunders has a great run going down the Ullman Straight here and over towards Sunset. Again, Saunders giving a little bit of room on entry, but looks like he's got that pass cemented. As we jump back over now.
Here's Violet.
Yeah, it's Parsono trying to hold off Eric Violet. Now, again, this is not a battle for position in class. Parsono is currently your open category leader. Violet currently running 2nd in the pro category. But it doesn't look like it matters all that much to Nick Parsono. He was making it a challenge for Chris Thorman to get by earlier. I don't see why he wouldn't do it right now for
He's
Eric
driving
Violet.
a very wide Lamborghini right now.
Yeah.
But Violet, his best
right.
move is going to be to try and set him up coming off of the 7, but I think we're going to catch a replay here.
Yeah, Larry, we're going to jump back here to Sosa. And we'll take a look.
Oh, that's a lot of dirt.
Yes, it is.
No, that's going to be a lot of wall.
Oof. Yeah, Oof. That was painful. That was coming out of turn. That was coming out of 13, the tower turn onto the Flying Fortress.
That frunk.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, that is usually the kiss of death with these Lamborghinis. That and when the rear window pops out or the fairing in the back.
Caleb Lavender now is caught
Spears.
This battle of Ruddock and Brooks. Ruddock and Brooks running second and third in the open class. Lavender right now third overall in the pro class, but sixth in the field of running. He would like to get by these two because he can see Parsono and Violet up in front of him.
Oh, and yeah, it takes a little poke to the inside there as they came into the chicane.
I don't know that he'll be able to do it before the S's, but I suspect coming down the back straight.
I'm sure I'll try to pick off at least one of them coming down into 17. As we now have about 6 minutes remaining. Ooh, and he got such a good run out of 16. He almost got him before the exit of 16 there. But look at this. There you go. Moving in. So that is Caleb Lavender. He moves in now into fifth position overall as he cuts across the nose of Scott Brooks for a moment there. I thought he was going to make a run on Russ Ruddock. Did not get it done before they get the sunset, but definitely some good pace right now out of the 333 machine. All right, let's take a look back here, Larry. I think we've got Andre Saunders in the number 72 entry, perhaps with a few more issues. All right, and let's take a look here.
A little issue there with our replay, but we'll get back to that in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see that in a moment. Now going down into turn number 7, it is Lavender makes the move on Ruddock. So Caleb Lavender sitting in fourth now overall, gets around Russ Ruddock, move Ruddock back into fifth. Ruddock still running second in the open category, but Caleb Lavender, he is on the move.
Yeah, Lavender has just been flying, now able to dispatch Ruddock, and now he's sitting in that fourth overall, and he can see Parsono and Violet out in front of him. 5 minutes to go. Don't know if he can catch Parsono, but if anybody can right now, it's Lavender in the pace that he's running.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good distance. He's probably got around 15 car lengths to get up to Parsono. But I guess the other big story here. Yeah, Eric Violet did manage to get around Nick Parsono, as you can see there, the purple 89 car leading that train of cars down the Ullman Straight right now. Difference there is almost a little bit under 7 seconds between first and second overall. It looks like Scott Brooks now trying to make a move on Ruddock going into 17.
Not to be, as they're just scrapping back there. As now that Lavender's got on by them, they're back to their own little thing.
All right, now as we have only 3 minutes. Ooh, look at that, running wide. Scott Brooks, very wide through turn 1, gathers it back up, but he's going to have to reel Russ Ruddock back in. His time is running out here. Only 3 minutes remaining here in our second 30-minute race of the evening. And again, if you like what you see here tonight, please make sure to give us a thumbs up on YouTube. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe to Apex Racing TV for all the great virtual racing that we can offer you seemingly around the clock, around the world here. And if you go ahead and do that, you got to go and click on that notification bell, of course, so you can find out exactly when all those great races are happening.
Yeah,
so
how can you not like what's going on tonight? This has been a fantastic set of races here.
Gosh, yeah.
First race was pretty good, but this second race has topped it with all of this action going on. It's been some great, clean racing. And for Lavender, had one little issue there with Whitworth early on. He dropped down out of the top 10. Look at Lavender now up into the top 4. and right on the back of Nick Parsono, who's an open class driver. But for Lavender, he would love to get that podium on the overall here by getting by Parsono.
There you go. So as they close down now, coming through the chicane and onto the back straight, margin only about 0.6 of a second. But you can see here Caleb Lavender, he definitely has the pace as Parsono runs very wide coming through 16. And look at all the ground that Lavender made up. He is now firmly in the draft, in the slipstream here. And let's see if he pops to the inside, Larry.
He's going to have to do it.
Parsono goes to cover. Yeah, absolutely. We said that Parsono, even though some of these drivers are in the pro category, that Parsono was definitely getting defensive. But the thing about going to the inside on entry, it pushes you wide on exit. And Caleb Lavender tries to make the move, tries to come underneath as the white flag is in the air. Last lap from Sebring International Raceway. Can Caleb Lavender get around Parsono? Look at Parsono just hugging the wall going through turn one, and he manages for the moment.
He's solid, but I don't know if he's going to hold on for much longer, but he's certainly making some good defensive lines. It's so close there. Parsono not able to get to the apex. Lavender being very smart to hang behind him. Now he's going to go alongside. And so tight as these guys head out onto this next straight and head down towards 7, but I think Lavender now has the run.
All right, so we'll see now if Parsono can hold him off. We'll see Parsono exactly go center of track, even a little bit to driver's right. Maybe that makes things a little tight, and you can see there as Lavender tries to pinch him down, but very quick turn. You know, I have never seen a Lamborghini turn so tight in my life, Larry, as Parsono got that thing to just to absolutely turn on a dime.
Great racing, isn't it? This is great racing.
This is great.
As a couple of guys here. These guys are in different classes, right? Parsono is an open class driver. He's not the pro class driver, so he doesn't have the experience that Lavender, but he's driving like he does.
There we go. Now it looks like Caleb Lavender finally gets around Nick Parsono. Only took 12 turns to do it, to get that pass made. But great battle there between Caleb Lavender and Nick Parsono as we're on the very last lap here from Sebring. That moves Caleb Lavender now up to 3rd overall, 3rd in the pro class. Parsono maintains his lead in the open category, but Russ Ruddick, he's starting to close things down here with 1 lap to go. Actually, less than a lap, only about a half lap, as our leader, Chris Thorman, there he is right there in that orange number 60 machine. He comes through the sunset bend for the very last time. He's only got just another half turn to go, and here he comes across the stripe, taking the win in race number 2. It's Chris Thorman, driver of the number 60 machine.
Huge opportunity for him, and he took it to come home with the victory. And for Parsono, he's going to have to hold off of Russ Ruddick. Thought maybe all that battling there with Lavender was going to hurt him, but he managed to hold on to the open class lead just barely.
There you go. So Thorman and his D2D E-Racing machine takes the win. Eric Violet will finish 2nd. Caleb Lavender 3rd. That is your podium in the pro category. Nick Parsono holds off the field in the open category to take the win there in the number 79 NAP Motorsports entry. Russ Ruddick will work his way up to 2nd. Scott Brooks will finish in 3rd. Great run here in our last race, and you said it, Larry. Certainly the excitement level in race number 2, you can't beat that. That was amazing racing there, especially for the last 10 minutes.
He had all the opportunities of starting out on the front row, where Nick Parsono actually started the second race on the pole position, turns that into an open class victory. So congrats to him, and had opportunities there for Lavender after having that spin to be able to come back. What a fantastic drive to get up onto the final podium. Really just a great runs all around. That was some great racing side by side in lots of places. And I feel bad for the Bobby Childs, and had his issues there in that race after a pretty good run. And some of the others that could not quite make it to the finish, but it's a pretty good finish there for Thorman, Violet, Lavender, and Parsono in that second race.
All right, tell you what, Larry, why don't we take a quick little break here? We're going to thank some of our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll talk to some of our podium finishers here and get their thoughts on race number 2. You just witnessed round number 6 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Lambo Trophy Series, presented by Performance Texas Elite Graphics, Apex Racing Academy, and Extreme Scoring here on Apex Racing TV. And we'll be back in just a few moments.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
All right, and we are back here at Sebring, and if you have just witnessed round 6 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Lambo Trophy Series, I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod, and great race number 2. Let's go and take a look at the finishing order. Got it up on the screen there for you. Our podium tonight in the pro category, Chris Thorman, Eric Violet, Caleb Lavender, all D2D E-Racing, and they capture the podium. Finishing 4th in pro is Brandon Whitworth, also with D2D E-Racing. Jacob LeBron in his VTS Racing entry will come home in 5th. And in the open category, Nick Parsono, the NAP Motorsports entry, heck of a race from him as he held off Chris Thorman seemingly forever, then Eric Violet, and looks like Caleb Lavender. I mean, it took Lavender, 12 turns, Larry, to finally get around Parsono, and probably the most extended passing opportunity that we saw there. Great run from Parsono to come home with the top step of the podium in open. Russ Ruddick finishing 2nd. Scott Brooks finishing in 3rd, with Mike Taylor and John Casey finishing 4th and 5th in the open category. And I tell you what, we've got a bunch of people sitting around. Well, they're not just sitting around, but they're waiting to talk to us. Tell you what, why don't we bring in, let's start off with the open category. And we're going to start off with Scott Brooks, finished 3rd tonight in the open.
All right, we've got Scott Brooks joining us tonight, and Scott, finishing 3rd there in the open class. Exciting second race. You were right in the middle of the action for the entire race. Walk me through some of that.
It was a crazy busy race, I'll say. I was hoping that I'd get by a couple of the guys that were behind me after the first race quickly, because I knew the pro class was coming, and not to say anyone did anything wrong, but when they came through a little bit aggressively, and we kind of bumped and touched. It was quite an exciting race. It was always, kind of somebody I was racing with, and Russ was certainly a great competitor out there. We gave each other a lot of room.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting to watch you go through there. But as those as you mentioned, the pro drivers coming through a little bit aggressive, we did see a lot of accordion efforts going on out there. But you managed to stay clean. Is that just being a little cautious as those guys go by? Were you kind of giving them enough room, or were you really trying to hold them off?
No, I was trying to use them to my advantage. Like when I saw 3 of them coming down the straightaway, the back straight, I'm like, okay, you guys go, because I don't want you to slow me down in the last corner. But if you could please slow down Russ in the next corner, that would be fantastic. It was kind of what I was thinking when I was sort of, not really waving them by, but just letting them go and then tucking in behind.
Yeah, we had seen that. It's going to look pretty good when you go back there and watch that one on the replay. But no, great effort tonight to finish up 3rd in class. So congratulations on that. And definitely, hopefully you're looking forward to the last round as much as we are.
Yeah, good times. Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Scott Brooks, driver of the number 94 Scott Racing Lamborghini. Now, Larry, let's bring in Nick Parsono, driver of the number 79 NAP Motorsports entry. He was our winner tonight in our feature race in the open category.
All right, we've got Nick Parsono, and Nick, you started the second race on the front position. You got that great transfer spot. You held there for a while. Walk me through that, and then you got to tell me a little bit about that battle with Caleb in those last couple laps.
Well, I benefited in race one from other people's mistakes for the pole, and then I tried to hang on for dear life. That's the whole story, honest.
You held on for quite a while there. You had Thorman finally chase you down. We saw Violet get by you there with a couple laps to go, but you put up a heck of a fight with the real fast guy there, Caleb Lavender, with some great lines, and you really made Caleb work for it. Any tricks to holding him behind you?
Imagine your car's really wide and drive it like it's really No, I saw that he was for podium, so I thought, well, I'll at least fight this one, And it was the white flag, so I thought, well, we'll give it a try, and if he makes a mistake or if he can't do it, he can't do it, So, but yeah, I saw it would have been really, really close coming out of that left-hander where I kind of checked out of the battle. I didn't want us to wreck, so I checked out of that battle. But yeah, it was a good little battle for a few corners there. It was fun.
Yeah, we thought for a minute that battling was going to suddenly bring Russ Ruddock right back to you as he was right on your tail going across our finish. Was that thought going through your mind on that last lap that, hey, if I battle too much, Russ is going to catch me?
Not during the battle because I was really just thinking third. But then, yeah, when I let Caleb go, then I looked at the delta and I was like, uh-oh, better not make a slip up because that guy's gonna have it.
Yeah, that guy was for class, actually. So you ended up taking the class victory tonight. So congratulations on that. Is there anybody you want to thank for that class victory?
God, no.
All right. Well,
no, I'm just kidding. I just like to thank the league guys. They're really cool. They run a pretty good show, and it's pretty clean racing, which is what makes it fun, to be honest. So.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
racing tonight,
I mean the side-by-side stuff wouldn't be possible if people didn't have good courtesy and decent racecraft. So no, it's generally towards the league. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Great league, and you're absolutely right. Some of the cleanest racing anywhere on the web. So, congratulations on your victory tonight. Go enjoy it, and we'll catch you next time out.
Well, it's only 10 to 4 a.m. here. I'd just like to point.
That's true. Yes, you're over there on French time. Yes,
have a nightcap, my friend.
Only in the middle of the night. Go have a nice glass of red wine, and you get yourself some sleep.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Nick.
There you go. That was Nick Parsono, driver of the NAP Motorsports machine. Took the win tonight in the open category and awfully bashful when you asked him who he wanted to thank. Either that or, well, at least he found somebody. All right. Well, we had Eric Violet, and I guess he felt one interview with us was enough tonight. So he's
this is the guy I want to talk to anyway.
Exactly. Let's bring in our winner from race number 2, Chris Thorman, driver of the D2D E-Racing number 60 Lamborghini.
We've got Chris, who leading a D2D E-Racing 1-2-3 finish for the second half of our night tonight. Chris, congratulations on that finish, and tell me a little bit about your race.
It was crazy. I've never been out there in the front. This is my first win in 5 seasons with these guys, and
congrats.
I just was terrified them last couple laps.
Well, you shouldn't. You didn't look terrified at all as you kind of were holding your lead and even extending a little bit there over Violet as the laps wound down. But you were certainly the aggressor there. Once you were able to kind of work your way to the front 2 or 3, able to get up there with Parsono, at that point, were you just trying to get out a lead and hope to hang on, or were you just thinking pick up one spot at a time?
I was just going one spot at a time, and what I was really trying to do was keep Eric and Caleb behind me.
Yeah, well, you did a fantastic job of that. As at the end of the race, you're still about 5 seconds ahead of Eric down to that stretch. But you really showed some strong pace tonight. Is that just really a lot of practice? You're really comfortable with the Sebring track?
Yes, I love this car and I love the track, so it was just a good fit for me.
Yeah, but you got to feel good for the whole teammates there with Eric and Caleb winning it up there at the other 2 steps on the podium.
Yes, I don't know if we've ever done this before.
Yeah, well, a couple of firsts tonight then, right? First for the GTE Racing sweep of the podium and first victory in a couple of years there for you here in the Ricmotech series. So, Chris, congratulations on that. And I got to ask, who do you want to thank for this victory tonight?
I got to thank Ricmotech for all the great equipment. I got to thank Performa Elite Texas Graphics for supporting me, and D2D for just being a great team, helping me out all the time.
Absolutely. You got a couple of great folks there you rattle off. So we appreciate all of them. So congratulations, Chris, and go pop a little bit of bubbly. We know the Nick's going to go drink a little bit. I think you might want to have yourself a little bit of beverage to celebrate this one as well.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Congratulations to Chris Thorman, his very first win here in the Lamborghini Trophy Series with the number 60 D2D E-Racing machine. All right, and so Larry, the fine folks at Extreme Motorsports, they have already calculated the points now through 6 rounds. And so I'm going to give a quick rundown here. This is without the drop, so this is raw score. But at the moment, Caleb Lavender is your points leader in the Pro Series with 329 points. That's an 18-point advantage over Orion Racing's Mike Dam, who's 18 points back, and then another 45 points back from there, Orion Racing's Travis Schwenke. And then we've got Eric Violet, Russ Ruddock, Chris Thorman. That, again, is the pro category. And if we jump over to the open category, Russ Ruddock right now in his Flying Taurus Motorsports entry is your current leader with 256 points. That is a 39-point advantage over John Casey in the 046 Racing entry. Then we've got Mike Taylor in the Free to Sport Racing entry. He's only 12 points back from there in third. Then we've got Bobby Childs, and then tonight's feature race winner, Nick Parsono, sitting in fifth. All right, so let's start to wrap things up here, Larry, and take a look at what we've got coming up in the next few weeks. Next week, the Ricmotech World Challenge. It will be round 6 of 8. It is going to be the LMP2 drivers and GT3 entries. More GT3 racing next week from Virginia International Raceway. This race had originally been planned to be separate 40-minute races for our LMP2 and GT3 cars. You know, we're feeling adventurous after tonight. We're going to put them all on track together. It should be it's going to be a great 75-minute battle to the checkered flag next Monday night. And then in 2 weeks,
in mixed class racing is going to be a hoot.
Oh, yes, it is. And so 2 weeks from tonight, the Lamborghini Trophy Series. It's the season finale from the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari. I think awfully fitting that the Lambo Trophy Series should finish up at one of Italy's most storied tracks and circuits. So that will be in 2 weeks. And so, of course, you also want to join us for the Classic Sprint Series, our Mazda MX-5 Series, round 1. You see it right there, January 10th, 2022. I know you got to wait, but it'll be worth it. So come and join us then. We'll announce the track soon enough. So again, as we mentioned, points have already been updated. If you want to find out more about the Lamborghini Trophy Series, maybe get your foot in the door and ready for series number 2 or season number 2. Check out ExtremeMotorsports99.com, and you can find out not only about the Lambo Trophy Series, but all of the other Ricmotech series as well. So for Larry Lefty McLeod, for our great folks, Dennis Grabowski and Dennis Branch, sitting back in the virtual production truck. Want to thank them for everything that they've done tonight. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and we will see you next Monday night.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.